Hi, I'm Julian Eckley, and this is a video on 3 ways that you can help poor people. And the first way is simply by changing your mind about them, or really just opening your mind to them. Because one thing I've noticed since being poor is people will just tend to come in with these assumptions about you without knowing anything about your life or your situation. They will just assume things like that you're lazy, or you're stupid, or you have not worked throughout your life, that you don't want to work. Well, that's probably the biggest one, is that you're somehow lazy or less prone to working than the average person. But in many cases, the reverse could be true. A person could have to work extra hard because they're poor, because they're caught in some circuit where they're undervalued, or else working for free to the extent that regardless of how hard they work, it's just not enough. And then so you could be like, oh, well, then they must be dumb. But maybe they're not dumb. I mean, you don't know what they've been doing. Perhaps they're doing something that is really important, or is meaningful, or is related to helping another human or other humans. And that's why they're poor. I mean, you just don't know unless you know. So, I mean, if anything, try to find out. Try to talk to poor people and find out why they're poor, rather than, I mean, there's really no benefit in simply making a negative assumption about them. Because I do think poor people are magic to some extent, and if we make negative assumptions about poor people, then we shut down parts of ourselves, and we also shut down our access to different magical portals in the world. That's what I think. Okay, so the second thing you can do to help poor people is help them materially, right? I mean, it's like lots of us have material excess. Even poor people have material excess. So if you can give that excess to somebody whom it would benefit, then it's kind of a win-win situation, you know? You'll have fun, you'll make a friend. There's not really much of a downside in sharing material wealth, whether it's like money, food, objects, whatever, sharing it with people who need it. So that's number 2. And I mean, I feel like there should be a little bit more of that in our society, because, you know, we are like a material society, but one of the ways that being a material society can be extra fulfilling is when we can actually use our surplus to benefit someone, right? Like, that's like one of the greatest feelings. So I feel like we should like give ourselves that feeling more often, and not be so afraid to share. And yeah, which I feel like is mostly based on negative ideas we have, like that poor people are inherently problematic, so that sharing with them is not going to help anyone. And I don't think that's true. If you've had experiences though where helping poor people backfired, please share them, because I would definitely want to hear about that. And then the third thing that I think you can do to help poor people is to bring them into your social circle and introduce them to other people. Because I think to a large extent being poor is a matter of having a small social circuit or a problematic social circuit. So like, I think what poor people generally need more than anything else, well, they need money and material things, but also they need to know more people so that they can gain better access to knowledge, to resources, and to things that will make it easier to improve their lives. So like, rather than treating poor people like lepers or something, like, you know, like where you like leave your normal friends and you like say hi to a poor person, like, I think poor people could be brought into the fold of non-poor society, right? Like, we don't have to like segregate between rich and poor, because I think like that segregation is really a big reason why there tends to not be as much mobility as there could be, right? Because we see poor person, we make negative assumptions about poor person, we don't involve poor person in non-poor person social activities. So I really think it would be fulfilling and more interesting for everyone involved to have poor people, even homeless people, more assimilated into regular social spheres. I mean, if they become so problematic that you have to kick them out, then you have to kick them out. But I wouldn't just assume that they have nothing to offer. So yeah, that's my idea on the 3 ways you can help poor people. And I would like to add that I feel like one concept that has sort of fallen out of our group mind to a certain extent is the wheel of fate, right? Like there is a wheel that turns, and eventually even, rich people, smart, responsible rich people, they eventually become poor too, due to a twist of fate. I mean, it might not happen for 200 years, right? So it might not happen within this lifetime, but if a person were to live long enough, the wheel of fate would turn, and that would happen through some unforeseen circumstance or whatever. And likewise, over time, poor people will rise up. So if you to reach out to poor people is really just a smart move, right? Like buy low, sell high. Like investing in someone when they're down, you get a lot more bang for your buck than like you do when you're giving money to like a billionaire. So I mean, just from a pragmatic perspective, I feel it just simply makes sense to extend ourselves to poor people through helping them materially and also including them socially. Yeah, so that's all I have to say. My name is Julie Neckley, and this is How to Help Poor People. Thank you. Bye.